Unexpectedly, reality TV viewers are going crazy over a late-night event that is now devolving into complete chaos. Yes, Rasheeda Frost and her husband M from Yandy Smith. C. People with knowledge of the matter say that these private rumors, together with recent accusations regarding Elak's personal video, are becoming viral on the internet. Harris were supposedly seen together on camera, and it wasn't just a pleasant photo shoot. Oh no, there's a lot of heat around. At a private after-hours event in Atlanta, Mendeecees and Rasheeda were seen behaving very comfortable. But that was only the beginning. To put it mildly, fans are shocked by the TikTok dance duet, and social media is rife with irrational speculations. Within hours, anonymous rumors began to imply that there was a compromising footage. Has Kirk's mess been cleaned up by Rasheeda? Above everything, the footage is authentic. Is Yandy an abandoned Mendeecees? You'll be clutching your pearls after hearing what's going to happen, so stay put. The betrayal and drama are more intricate than anybody could have imagined. It all began on what appeared to be a typical Thursday night in Atlanta, complete with flashing lights, velvet ropes, and muddy streets. According to witnesses, Mendeecees Harris and Rasheeda Frost arrived in the same car minutes apart, igniting suspicions right away. The event was an invitation-only, upscale guest list outside one of the city's most exclusive after-hours restaurants. Even the most private occurrences cannot be kept secret in the room. The first to come out was Rasheeda, who was smiling, composed, and spotless. His head lowered under a sleek black satin dress, followed by DC's. At first, fans thought it was a coincidence. Perhaps they happened to be at the same event. But the video revealed more. The cameras never fail, however the hat fits poorly. It seems like they spent the entire night together, not just there. One participant said that at around 2:40 a.m., they even departed together, seated close to one another, through the rear entrance. Only the two of them were leaning, talking and laughing in the VIP area, neither supported nor shielded. Fans slowed down to examine every detail when it was leaked that Mendeecees was standing right behind Rasheeda at the bar, his hand briefly touching her lower back as she spoke in his ear. By the time the sun rose, Twitter was ablaze with a shaky 15-second video. "This isn't any H's Energy's done risk at all for the Frost Queen," one person tweeted, while another said, "The methods were violent, the air was chaotic, and then things got worse." According to an anonymous Instagram blog that is well known for revealing information about unconfirmed but potent reports from the ATL community, a private film of Mendeecees and Rasheeda is making the rounds in group discussions. According to celebrities before the mainstream media does. Fans were shocked by the seemingly recent, allegedly intimate film, while those who supported Frost were in denial. Yandy supporters were also incensed with Kirk Frost. When he abruptly stopped posting, tailing, and even taking his regular selfies at the gym, people realized that this was more than just a rumor. Rasheeda finally shared something on her Instagram story, but it was just a blank screen with the words, "Some things are just as the hours," following a significant incident that had happened with the goal of gaining influence. Did you understand the components of a leak? That ambiguous remark did not diffuse the situation. Rather, it exacerbated it. What about nighttime back entrances involving private moments captured on camera? The footage gets misinterpreted. Nevertheless, Yandy didn't remain mute for long. She shared a rotating collection of family images on social media with the phrase, "I stand tall in truth, love, and loyalty," which will always elicit the PED comment, "Is this shade of Mendeecees unfaithful?" Watch the video. The public sought answers as the pressure mounted. But here is where things started to go awry. Just when many people were starting to change their minds, a second video appeared. It was not said directly, but this was merely another exaggerated story, one that was longer, more lucid, and certainly personal. It was very enlightening on men. DC and Rasheeda were seated alone in what seemed to be a private lounge area. He took off his jacket, she took off her heels, and her fingertips barely touched his thigh. They laughed quietly for too long to be innocent, and she leans in and rests her head on his shoulder. Rasheeda apparently got screenshots, direct messages, and purported witness testimony after Kirk's newest infidelity scandal went public, sending the internet into a frenzy. The person they cited said that Yandy spent months confiding in Men V while concentrating on her work and ISM activities, which caused another guy, DC, to feel neglected in his marriage. With others, and their chemistry was clear regardless of the veracity of the released video. Fans started comparing Kirk's lengthy history of disrespect with Rasheeda's silence, which always benefited from more than words MC's charm and emotional openness, as the reasons why her amicable exit. No one had verified the tape, which claims to show much more than a shoulder lean, but the existence of a private, intimate, and possibly sexual film had sparked interest. Desperate to discover evidence, many were searching via Telegram and Reddit communities. While some said it was all a lie, others said they saw it, but their descriptions were hazy. However, the fact that MCs continued to be cautious and discreet in their posts, and that the truth remained hurried, had some weight. They appeared to be stranded in a storm. Insiders said the ice hone was in utter disarray. Kirk reportedly asked the couple's close pal behind the scenes for explanations after being taken by surprise. Disclosed to an Atlanta-based podcast that Kirk had packed up and departed their shared house a few days earlier due to feelings of public humiliation. Despite his unhappiness, he feels embarrassed among people. It appears that the roles have finally been reversed, and the plot was only getting more complicated when Jazine, the mother of Chicken Child, Kirk's former sidekick, disclosed that Jasmine had joined the conversation with a shocking post that featured a lip-glossed photo and the harsh remarks, "Are you upset with Rasheeda for doing what Kirk has been doing? Leave that woman alone." One person claimed that Jasmine had been waiting for today to use violence, while another added that the story was about more than just two people embroiled in a dispute. Yandy maintained her composure in public, but was unfollowed due to the strong emotions she was feeling. Retaliation cycles secrets. A triangle of love became square ATL influencers like Rasheeda, who stayed silent save for one cryptic tweet about choosing peace above impressing others, and Kirk, who was humiliated and allegedly crashed at a gathering. He hadn't said anything to fans, the media, or even a tweet, Hotel Downtown MCs, but a close friend claims that he's trying to avoid it because he knows what's happening and is getting ready for the fallout, which at the time sounded terrible whatever it meant. Late one evening, an anonymous email with the subject "Mine" appeared. "You're missing the real story." A blogger was shown a screenshot that evening that purportedly came from a text exchange between Mendeecees and a user that was saved on his phone with the username R. "We gave in at the last minute, and I apologized," according to the letter. The audience stopped when a lady called Rasheeda said, "I don't want it to happen like that. I me to hurt anyone," shortly after the website posted the screenshot. The voicemail was obviously that of she. The only thing intended was comfort. Did they now regret the video, in addition to the fact that it had happened? Had they breached a boundary they were unaware they had crossed? The damage became apparent when the voicemail leak reverberated over the internet, supporting the same conclusion that Comfort Rasheeda was the sole person involved, and that this issue was not going away anytime soon. Spoken in a voice that touched everyone who heard it, delicate and nearly shattered. The ACT and its accompanying intensity astounded fans. This was not a controversy about desire. Included stepping over a line that could never be crossed again and feeling exposed. The hashtags, Comfort Home Wrong, Miss Rasheeda Gate, and Miss Rasheeda Gate were trending. By the following morning, body language comparisons on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter had replaced the hypothetical looping of video in the research. Months had passed since Kirk had known all along. Weeks had passed since this began, and they were attempting to put together the chronology of the betrayal fans who became investigators. And what about Yandy? Yandy posted a video of herself and her kids grinning, demonstrating her unity in public despite her evident worry. "Silence is strength," she said in her letter. "Even if the comment area was chaotic, don't see it as weakness." According to an insider, she was distraught behind closed doors, citing a family member who stated she felt injured and humiliated. Some people commended her for maintaining her manner, while others pleaded with her to reveal the truth. The fact that she admired Rasheeda M startled her. Despite DC's assurance that nothing was happening right now, Yandy's reality was built up through voicemail and video, as crumbling Rasheeda's social media manager stopped posting, and her crew was rushing back to Atlanta. It appears that a number of planned events for her apparel company were abruptly canceled. How about behind the scenes? Rasheeda reportedly stopped communicating with everyone except for her mother and one close friend, Kirk, and her. YouTube blog became silent. At last, he raised his voice, but not in the manner everybody had anticipated. On a since-deleted Instagram Live, Kirk made an unexpected appearance while appearing intoxicated. Seated in what seemed to be a hotel room, he spoke straight to the camera while visibly furious, saying, "You guys find it humorous seeing my wife like this out there. Even if I'm not perfect, I've been dragging for years, and everyone is acting like she's innocent today. Please wait, everyone. I never look bad on camera. I have receipts too." Was Kirk about to reveal anything shocking himself? What did receipts imply to him? Was this whole thing becoming a battle of retaliation between husband and wife? When fans were getting AB back, you weren't crying. After only one comment, Jasmine wrote in the comments, "You were creeping on me, so don't cry now," before anybody could even comprehend that they were abruptly pulling Kirk and Jasmine back into the heart of the controversy. Where is the entire video? Was the most pressing issue among all of this confusion. When people watched fake online films, they were in a terrible predicament, began to display blurry, meaningless videos with deceptive captions, and fans left hundreds of comments on Reddit postings. Described the clips they claimed to have seen as poignant, intimate, and unquestionably real. But until this week, no one had access to the entire movie. The message, which was sent via a burner account on X before Twitter, was posted at 3:47 from a single camera perspective in a hotel room in Atlanta. In just a few minutes, the tweet was removed, but not before screenshots were grabbed and extensively circulated, enabling followers to realize it was more than simply a dramatic post. According to those close to him, the photographer was drafting a statement while not returning calls and only responding to legal counsel. But he was also going through emotional difficulties that he didn't think it would reach this far. According to an insider, he thought it would stay quiet, but the voicemail leak changed everything, and attorneys were being called in the background. According to accounts, a number of sites received stop and desist letters as Rasheeda's team worked to determine where the leak originated. Selma held the rumor mill once more, and the rumors started to spin. "I didn't realize someone was filming," Mendeecees quietly told a friend, according to a snapshot of a group discussion that was made public. "I promise it was a secret that wasn't meant to be, but the damage was done. Privacy had long since vanished, and while some supporters called for responsibility, others urged compassion." Rasheeda was long considered the powerful A-woman who remained true despite everything Kirk did is an example of rebuilding and forgiving. However, because of the damage to her reputation, some fans felt deceived, while others were reassured by a family member's statement that she is human and has the right to break the backlash, even though her image, brand, and values were all genuine. Wondered if this was who she was all along, whether she had deliberately kept quiet about Kirk, or if this whole event was just the beginning of something far more sinister. The story was further clouded by a website that posted a grainy picture of what seemed to be hotel security footage shot just one night before the allegedly original video was made. Rasheeda and the male VC were seen holding their heads together as they walked down a corridor. They didn't appear hurried. Rather, they assumed a pleasant pose. Since this was an overnight error, a completely new layer was immediately added. The footage seemed authentic. There was more to it, something moving, perhaps even continuous. And then, most surprisingly, Yandy and Kirk were seen together, along with Ved. They were seated across from one another at a quiet corner cafe in Midtown when paparazzi-style pictures of them surfaced. They were not holding hands or grinning. They were speaking intently and with serious expressions. The stakes were survival rather than retaliation, and their houses, trademarks, and photographs were on the line. Supporters questioned if this was a prearranged ceasefire, a preparation for war, or even more, that Yandy and Kirk were working together. Nothing is ever as it seems in the world of reality television. It had progressed beyond a mere leap video at this point, to partnerships about who would break the news, who would go public, who would tell the tale first, and who would be left behind. But despite all the planning and damage control, the public continued to ask the same questions. Who leaked the video? What actually happened in that hotel room? And why does it seem like there is more to this story? It turns out that the story wasn't finished because just when everyone thought they had, another insider who said they were working at the hotel that night came forward. That night, the anonymous hotel employee's response, of which you only know half the story, hit the blobs like a ton of bricks. All would be different if I had listened to all they had to say. I witnessed the source, who worked as a night supervisor at a posh hotel part-time, and EVR spending the night together without holding back. The whistleblower arrived after midnight and provided a thorough explanation in a string of direct messages that were uploaded to a well-known gossip website. When she signed in, she took on a new identity and he showed up 5 minutes later. Although they were taxern, the front desk workers smiled as he carried her bag for the evening. If this hotel employee was correct, the occurrence that night wasn't an emotional slip-up. It was no longer a rumor. We were all instructed not to ask questions, but we all knew who they were, and the internet had been waiting for this confirmation. Rather, everything was meticulously prepared and coordinated, and after the shocking disclosure, I noticed someone else enter the room. However, I didn't see any cameras or employees, just a man wearing a sweatshirt. Although he was only there for 10 minutes, it was obvious that there were other people in the room wearing sweatshirts. I'm not sure anymore, but I thought it could have been a stylist or assistant. Discussions on Reddit and X are rife with theories over whether the leap was the result of an inside job or the installation of a covered camera as these direct messages spread. Rash eventually broke her silence for real this time, whether it was out of retaliation, blackmail, or the release of someone close to them for financial gain. With her hair pulled back and her eyes swollen, she broadcast live on Instagram without any filters while sitting in what appeared to be her home office, while everyone else was frantically looking for answers. Glam's voice was trembling as she started, and she just felt a genuine emotion. I intended to do this on film, but I can't stand it when lies go out of control so quickly. I will not stand here and defend something that I know is flawed. I erred and did something I never would have thought to do, and Liv was seen by over 100,000 people. For years, I was the one who held everything together, cleaning up other people's rubbish and smiling in spite of my humiliation. After torturing useless individuals, she paused to gather herself before carrying on. During the journey, I lost my sense of purpose, but all of a sudden, someone got up and paid attention. Don't be critical. Simply comprehend if it was incorrect. Rasheeda had just acknowledged that something had occurred, but it was genuine, and no one liked hearing that. On camera, it was a shocking surprise. The emotional and physical connection between her and M is clearly established, even in the absence of the full footage. But she didn't say Kirk or him by name, and everyone knew, and the internet went crazy. Yandy finally got over her anger as some fans praised her honesty. She's human, a bystander said. Others weren't as understanding since, despite its efficacy, the live also led to more queries about what specifically transpired. And daughter, you breached your vows. Don't pretend that this is self-care. Hours later, Men provided the answer. But where was Menace? Was she speaking the truth out of guilt, or was she attempting to steer the conversation? Sometimes good people make bad choices, was the straightforward remark. A rare black and white image of DC sitting by himself on a rooftop with the city skyline in the backdrop was shared online. Just demonstrates that they are human, not that they are evil people. I apologize, but that wasn't a live video or interview. It was just a caption. Why do you feel bad about mentioning her name? You must be honest with Yandy. It spoke a lot and left some wanting more. Some people like things simple. Since meeting Kirk in the cafe, Yandy had actually stopped writing, and there were now reports that she had moved out of the home where she lived with males in Mendeecees, so she packed up her belongings. The children and left with the bag. She has been residing at her mother's house and has admitted to friends that she needs time to reflect, according to one source. As the tearful rubble subsided, Kirk Frost took another surprising step and shared an old picture of him and Rasheeda. I wish I could see him today. Instead of dragging Kirk, fans started to feel something for him. They said, "In their early 20s, we've been through worse, but I never thought we'd get here." Kirk was suddenly betrayed after years of being ridiculed online for his disdain, but he never forgets that some people supported him and others claimed he manufactured this karma. According to someone close to Jasmine, there was still more dissatisfaction simmering under the surface, even though it just comes in lip gloss and heels. She held back from gushing and drank more tea.